Hey everybody, my name is Jeff. Nope, not Jeff. Hey everybody, nope. Hey everybody, my name is Bobby. Welcome to Mile High Church. We're so glad you could spend part of your weekend with us, especially if you're new. Before we get started today, we want to give you a look at a few things coming up around Mile High Church for you and your family. To all of our Mile High Church volunteers, your dedication and warmth light up our community. This Friday, we will celebrate all of our volunteers in the Community Center for a special event. This year's theme is Wizard of Oz. And our Adventure in Faith small groups start October 1st. Join a group in person or online to get grounded and grow together in community.
Imagine waking up 10% happier. What would it feel like to eat breakfast 10% happier? Your normal commute, but 10% happier. 10% happier while being driven crazy by your children. 10% happier playing video games. And drifting off to sleep 10% happier.
Hey, I'll be coming to Mile High Church on Friday, November 3rd. I'm going to talk about how mindfulness and meditation can really help dealing with anxiety, depression, and many of the other issues we deal with as modern human beings, FOMO, burnout, stress, the lot of it. We're going to talk about mindfulness and meditation, but plenty of other techniques I've learned over the years hosting the 10% Happier podcast and writing books, etc. Really looking forward to seeing you all.
For more information about anything you've heard today, stop by the Event Center or check us out online at milehighchurch.org.
Well, hey, good morning, Mile High Church. How you feeling? Everybody pumped? All right, we're going to start you off with a song from Rainbow Day Camp. This is our song this year, and so the words will be up on the screen. And I figure if these little 5-year-old kids can do it, there's a shot that you guys might be able to put this together. I'm peaceful, I'm joyful, and I'm free. 'Cause I'm so glad that I get to be me. This earth is my sacred home, that's the way it feels to me. I'm peaceful, I'm joyful, and I'm free. You got it? I'm peaceful, I'm joyful, and I'm free. And I feel good when I walk through the trees. Don't take much to make me smile, just the way I like to be. I'm peaceful, I'm joyful, and I'm free. Ken's peaceful. So much good in the world that I see. This earth is our sacred home. It starts with you and me. We're peaceful, we're joyful, and we're free. We're peaceful, we're joyful, and we're free. You guys sound great.
Good morning, Mile High Church. Welcome back, Dr. Barry.
Thank you.
It's great to have him here with us, isn't it? Yeah. Bringing some great music to us. What a joy it is to have you here with us today also. Those of you who are in our beautiful Teel Sanctuary and those of you joining us online, it's a joy to be together. And we call this section of our service the welcome. And so I always love a chance to get to welcome you, to share with anyone who's listening the inclusive energy of our beautiful community, that all are welcome here and that we embrace all beings. And I invite us all to extend that welcome energetically to everyone in this room, to everyone watching online, to welcome each other with that space of, isn't it good to have us all here? Yes, you can applaud for each other. Let's do that. Welcome, everybody. And we also get a chance to step fully into the experience of our community through our vision and mission today. So I invite you to read with me enthusiastically our vision and mission. Let's start with our vision. Oneness revealed, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. And our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. What a joy it is to remember who we are and what we're here to be and do together. Thank you for that. And as I mentioned, we've got some great music here with Dr. Barry sharing music throughout the service. We also have a young man whose voice you're going to hear right after our prayer, Camilo. Oh, Ayati, sorry, I was like, Camilo's here with us again, and he has a beautiful, beautiful voice. Yes. He's going to fill this room with his wonderful presence. And so, speaking of prayer, we're going to head into that direction right now. I invite you just to take a deep breath. We're going to go within. We're going to sing together. We're going to have some time in silence. And then Reverend Michelle will lead us in prayer.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
How good it is to sit in the stillness. Just bringing our awareness to that divine presence that is always present within, that's always present around us, moving in, through, and around all of creation. That divine presence that expresses itself as the crispness of the morning air, the warmth of the sunshine, the community and the people that we get to see right here within our Mile High Church family. And how good it is to know that we can connect with this divine presence at any moment. And we celebrate and acknowledge all of the ways people around the world acknowledge this presence and celebrate this oneness. through coming together in churches, mosques, temples, circles, being out in nature. God is present in all ways, always. And how good it is to be in this mile-high sanctuary, whether we're present here physically or we're tuning in online, we can feel that mile-high connection and love that is always available to us. And how good it is to recognize that divine presence in each person that we meet, allowing that divine reflection to reflect back at us. And as we move into our service time today, may we allow our hearts to open wider, allowing the wisdom of the words spoken through the music, knowing that we are blessed and we are a blessing, and that we are supported by the divine in every moment. And so with great gratitude, I just simply allow it to be, knowing all is well. And so it is.
This is the moment, this is the day when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now. Today, this is the moment, this is the time when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this precious chance. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment when all I've done, all of the dreaming, scheming and screaming become one. This is the day, see it sparkle and shine, when all I've lived for
I think they liked it, Camille. There will be a fan club. I will be president. We have some wonderful inspirational words today from a number of authors and speakers. First, from Thomas Kelly, who tells us presence. The now is no mere nodal point between the past and the future. It is the seat and region of the divine presence itself. No longer is the ribbon spread out with equal vividness before one, for the now contains all that is needed for the absolute satisfaction of our deepest cravings. Why want and yearn and struggle when the now contains all one could ever wish for and more? And from artist Alicia Keys, everything you want to be, you already are. You're simply on the path to discovering it. And lastly, from Carolyn Mays, free yourself from the burden of wanting things, of needing to accomplish anything, of being driven by the desire to please others. Finally, close your eyes and listen to the wild voice of your soul and let go.
Sometimes when I am dreaming of a place I know we've been, I wonder if we'll ever find our way back home, my friend. This piece of word we talk about, but violence our way. It keeps us shackled to this wheel and keeps our hearts at bay. There are those who came before us, who saw a path that few could see, who gave their lives in love surrender for fools like you and me. I've seen their footprints by the river, where they stopped and heard the call. Immerse themselves in the one great spirit. They face their fear and then walked on the high road. You can feel their power on the high road. We are not alone. The compass lies within our hearts to mark our traverse through the dark. The circumstances change, but love is still the same. Gandhi spun his simple clothes, and Martin spoke of right. They walked from mighty governments beyond their will to fight. I know they sensed the danger. They surely knew the cost. Their voices were not silenced. Their love is never lost. I've seen their footprints by
Yeah. Dr. Barry Ebert, the one and only. The Mile High Band, directed by Rob Lowe. Blessings you all are. Every one of you, thank you. Good morning. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle and Reverend Josh for the opportunity to come back and haunt you a little bit and share the greatest church God ever invented. And happy first Sunday of fall. It's beautiful. It's my favorite season other than spring, summer, and winter. It ranks right up there. So it's a joy to be with you today. And among the things that I still just dabble in here at Mile High are the meditation and prayer retreats. And I invite you to come to the one that's coming up. If you have an established meditation practice, or you've been a grad of the other retreat that we do, the basic one, come on along on October 26th through 29. And really, I think of this retreat as not only reestablishing the deep quiet and the power base, but it's really a spiritual enrichment experience. And it's so multifaceted and joyous. So I invite you to do that. We're right against the deadline for registration. So see Karen in the bookstore, and I'd love to spend those 4 days. Erica and I love producing these with the support of Karen Thomas, and it's a joy. So hope to see you there. Now, you may remember these people from Mile High's rich heritage, Jack and Jill Castle. Jack left us about 4 years ago, passed over in about 4 years ago, and just about 10 days ago, Jill joined him on the other side. And so bless those two. They were really significant. Jack was music director and principal soloist for many years. Jill was also in the music ministry, the choir, and also headed up our youth ministry for a time. Both deeply committed to Mile High before their paths took them elsewhere. So this Saturday at about 2 p.m., over in the Vote Center, we're going to have a memorial for Jill and an honoring of both of them and the difference they made. If you knew them or if you'd like to just be there, we hope you will join us. This is part 2, the title, When You Need More. So these 3 guys were sitting on a park bench. And the guy in the middle was reading a newspaper. The other 2 guys were pretending to fish. They would bait invisible hooks. They would cast them. They would wait for the bite and set the hook. And then they'd reel them in. And then they'd high-five each other. Congratulations. And they'd keep doing this. Well, then, at one point along came a policeman, and he watched all this. And he said to the guy in the middle, "Do you know these 2? And they said, "Well, yeah, they're my friends." And he said, "Well, then I suggest you get them out of here." And the guy with the newspaper said, "Oh, yeah, okay." And he put the newspaper down and he began to row furiously. And in a similar way, humanity joins together in a hypnotic trance of sorts. It's kind of a shared illusion that what we have and who we are is not enough. So there's the drive for more, more, more. And 2 major forces try to put a bit in our mouth and steer us where they want us to go. And we covered these last week in part 1. The first of them being what I call the marketplace, that is always trying to convince us that we must deepen our appetite for more things, more money, for the bigger, the better, and the latest. And then there's the internal neediness of what we call the fearful ego, that is constantly crying out for more praise, more importance, more sympathy, more approval. And sometimes it gets even more destructive, more blaming, more revenge and lashing out, building bigger walls. More, more, more. And so last week, our first recommendation, basic to this little mini-series, is explore your more. Explore it. When a drive, a need, a demand for more comes up, what's going on? Are you a puppet whose strings are being pulled by these forces? The real challenge and upshot of it is that what they're trying to lead you to, if achieved or acquired, does not bring the happiness they tell you it will. Because it's an inside job. that don't bring the true power, the authentic peace, and the joy that they are apparently all about. So as we begin to become aware of it and potentially free ourselves from being in servitude to these forces, we can really set about going after the more that is the highest possibility for us. And that is to seek more awakening, more awareness of the essence of truth and reality that is right here, right now. In the now that Eckhart Tolle talks about, that the readings talked about, Thomas Kelly, the great Quaker mystic, talked about. In the now is so much, but we are usually unaware of it. But every person, we're all here to achieve more spiritual empowerment, more clarity of awareness of the mighty presence of the living Spirit as all the ideas, all the intelligence, all the healing energy, all the truth, all the life we could ever desire, right here, not later, right here. And so in that vein, I showed the short video, and I can't see it enough times. This is a 14-month-old little girl who was born with a visual deficiency, who is receiving her first pair of glasses. Yeah, no, that is precious in its own right, and yet so true about humankind and about you and me too much of the time. Jesus said, you have eyes, but you don't see. You have ears, but you don't hear. In the 1 Corinthians it says, we see as through a glass darkly. And it's the collective consciousness of humankind, the prevailing mindsets of most people most of the time, is oblivious. It is in a fog. It's in a fog. Its vision is blurred. We have been taken in by the apparent messages and limitations of conditions and circumstances and the limited message of the evolving human mind, and we're caught up in that and absolutely dulled to the brilliant reality of the light and the power of life itself. Call it God, call it spirit, call it love, call it whatever you choose. But it's here and it's now. And yet we're in this fog. But we can awaken. Well, we can awaken. So last week we suggested that we can use more as an acronym, that what we really need are moments of realizing essence. Going beyond the phenomena and the appearances of life to the essence of life, which is brilliant and powerful and contains everything that we need if we can come out of the fog, out of the trance, and embrace it. And the ultimate corrective lens is the heart. If we can learn to perceive, experience, live from the heart, things clarify. We are ushered into a more expansive dimension of life and energy and love and power. And we realize how limited we were and how difficult we made our lives when we lived in this fog, and how much was always given if we could just accept. And when we do, we're like that little girl. It's what I call the wow factor. All of a sudden we realize, oh my God, I've been in the midst of this ocean of ideas and power and beauty and joy, and it was, but now I see. And we have the wow factor, and then we have that kind of an experience that the little girl had of, whoa, look at my life, look at life around me. Oh my God. And I want that. All the master teachers, the enlightened avatars and sages came along to say, right in our midst is that which we have been seeking. right in our midst. So as we go forward a little bit in looking at the power of this today, I want you to know that there's a standing invitation for you and for every one of us. It is perhaps the greatest invitation we have ever been offered or ever will be offered. It was spoken by that master teacher Jesus who said, "Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world." What an invitation. Inherit the kingdom that has been prepared for you since before it even started. The good of God, the ideas, the answers, the energy, the love, prepared before you were even birthed. And it's still your birthright. What an incredible invitation. Don't you think we ought to RSVP on that one? Yeah, I do. And go to the party, the real party of life, which is the dance of beingness itself. Oh, we've mastered becoming human being or human doings, but we miss out on the being part of it. How about we use RSVP as a methodology for moments of realizing essence? R meaning remember. I invite you to go forth from this, remembering the fog that we revert to. And let's not deny it. We walk in mostly unawareness. Not that we have to stay there, but we've been so well trained at it. And it's etched within us. So to remember, I tend to walk in a fog. I'm not seeing all the glory there is, all the power there is. And I'm willing to know that so that I can open to something greater. So remember the spell that we can fall into. Remember that, how we don't see. And then surrender. Surrender the limited ideas, the limited notions, the limited acceptances, the limited experience we're having. Surrender all the trappings of the fog and the blur that we walk in, the unawareness that we walk in. You know that phrase, there's more to this than meets the eye? We could apply that in every way. In some situation, whether it's easy, difficult, whatever it is, to declare, I'm not seeing everything. There's more than meets the eye here. There's more to this situation. And I want to open to the more. There's more to this person I'm with. Even if they're a rascal, there's more to this person. And I want to be aware of that. There's more to me. I want to be aware of that. And so we surrender. Then we can visualize. We can begin to sense with the insight, the mind's eye. Sense this field of energy that we're a part of. The light, the intelligence, the power, the mighty spirit we're a part of. And to begin to sense the greater field that holds this little earth walk we're a part of. And understand that we're in this world, but we're not of it, so that we can begin to tap into the greater. So we sense it, we imagine it, and then finally we can partake. We can actually then declare, work through me, greater life. Show me something more than I know. I'm open to greater ideas. I'm available. I'm guidable. And in this way, we begin to access the spectacular wow of the greater answers and good that are available all the time. And we don't have to struggle and strain, and sometimes suffer through it all, because there's so much more. Now, I want to apply this to some areas. It actually applies to everything. But let's talk first of all about the implications in terms of abundance. Now, that's an area where a whole lot of folks want more. But understand this, to the degree that we're saying more, what we're more deeply affirming is there's not enough. There's not enough, therefore I want more. And the universe takes us at our word of believing. It is done unto us as we believe. So if we're on the surface craving and striving for more, we have to understand that at a deeper level, we're invoking, there's not enough for me, there's not enough, there's not enough. We're putting that into motion for ourselves. And what we need to understand is we're looking through the lens of lack. We're looking at what's in place manifest now and determining lack, when the truth is we live in the ocean of divine life, infinite life. There's nothing it does not already have. It is all prepared. Jesus put it this way: the fields are white already to the harvest. Meaning the harvest is here. It's not later. It's not if you're a good boy or girl. The harvest is here now. Do you have eyes to see? Can you hear the whisper of the voice within that says, it's my good pleasure to give you the kingdom? And so we start retraining our consciousness, because your personal prosperity is in direct proportion to the expanse of your consciousness. If you can take off the lens of lack and acknowledge the abundance that you live in, yes, it's invisible, but it's the invisible that becomes the manifest. And ultimately, that which is invisible is the reality of it. It's the invisible idea at the heart of everything that is its ultimate reality. The outer form will deteriorate and fall away, but not the invisible pattern and the idea. So we exist in the infinitude of all ideas, and it's been said that the gold coin of God are ideas. And so as we acknowledge the greater universe of infinite abundance that's already established and the good that's already here for us, we open to bigger ideas. We open up to a bigger idea of a situation. We open to an innovative idea, a creative idea. We allow ourselves to be guided. And thus we begin to plant seeds for a greater good in our life, in our experience. But it's all about, I live now in this good of the I am. I live now in this good. So take off the lens of lack. Next, let's talk about self-worth and the dreams that everybody has at some deep level. Usually the lens we look through when we consider ourselves is a composite of things we've been told and have bought into over the years, sometimes early in our life, very early. It's a composite of our own judgments of outcomes in our life, the way things turned out. It's what other people feel about us and say about us, and it is often a reflection of how we deem our current life situation to be. And so we put together this self-image, look out through it, and live to it, to its level. When the truth of the matter is we're so much more than that. Truth is, there's more to you and me than we know right now. There may be more to you and me than we will ever know. And our journey is to expand into the greater essence of ourselves, not get trapped in what we've concluded about ourselves now. And so we need a healing within that says, I refuse to take myself at the estimation of lack and loss, of setbacks, of other people's judgments, or my own. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the divine activating itself as me. Dr. Holmes says God has need of you, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't exist. We say, what if I'm better than I think? Not in a superiority way, but just in owning the integrity and beauty of my spirit, my soul. And what if that's the lens I can look through? And I can make peace with myself. I can bless the past, even the difficult parts, because it brought me to this fine moment of awakening, but it does not define me. You have a history, but you are not your history. You have a story, but you're so much more than your story. And as we create this space of I accept the spirit I am, and I'm ready to embrace life, then inevitably from our hearts, from that corrective lens of the heart, an even more wondrous dream can emerge. That which something in us wants to contribute. I happen to believe that every one of us is uniquely encoded with a dream that Spirit wants to be. And we either obscure it and bury it or ignore it, or we start listening for it in a field of love and self-acceptance. And then honor that dream, even if we haven't the foggiest idea how to do it. Our job is to get in touch with the dream, not figure it out. We'll be guided if we can see through the lens of the heart and claim that which wants to come forth. The ways and means shall be shown to us. I invite you to reflect on you this week and be like that little baby who puts on those corrective lenses of your heart. And take a fresh look at you from God's perspective. And let's talk about prayer and healing for a moment. When I first saw that video a long time ago, I thought, that's prayer. Prayer is putting on the lens of the heart and realizing the glory that's already here. It's no longer giving power to conditions and situations and what's going on and the voices of the world. It's realizing, it's a process within ourselves of realizing the presence, the power, the light here, now, at the heart of any situation, no matter how complicated or troubling it may seem. We pray to understand within ourselves that God's right there too. The light is available right there too. It's waiting to be invoked. It's there. And so too for somebody we care about and are praying on behalf of, for ourselves as well. You see, the confusion around prayer is the sense that we're praying for things, for certain changes or situations, or that we are praying to, begging actually and bargaining with, a reluctant God who's highly overworked and unlikely to be available. But nonetheless, might as well toss the prayer out there. You never know. And that's the relationship most have with prayer. Here's a bold statement. Prayer has nothing to do with God. It has to do with our consciousness of God. God doesn't need to be more. God already is the more. Right where you are. Within your body, within the body of your circumstances. God is already the more in any and every situation. Will we have eyes to see and ears to hear? And can prayer take us? Prayer's like the RSVP in a way. It's where we shed the trappings of the lesser consciousness and we open our hearts to a higher vision. And in our form of prayer, which you can learn by taking our classes here, and if you have not done that, stop ripping yourself off. Go for it. That may be the second great invitation, other than the one I said, is the invitation to learn and practice this stuff. But in our form of prayer, we come out of the fog and we realize we're ordained to speak our word, to activate the ideas of higher expression. But those aren't even making it happen. They're just activating the potential of the divine right where they are. And so prayer becomes this wonderful healing enterprise where we understand that healing is revealing the presence, the power, the glory of God. And we let it be. And then finally, I thought it might be good to speak a little bit about our relationships. We're all blessed to have relationships, although some of them we'd like to return. I wonder what the return policy is on certain relationships, but we all have them. And we learn by means of them, and we evolve by means of our relationships. And every relationship can go deeper. It astounds me that Erica and I can love more deeply and know each other more deeply. I didn't think that'd be possible. It was so full and rich, and it works. It keeps happening. And even other relationships you've got, they can go deeper. because we take off the lens of what we think we know about a person, our judgments about them, our sense of their life history, what's going on in their life. We said, that's only minimally important. And we put on the corrective lens of the heart, and we realize this is a spectacular God-inspired being, greater than they know themselves to be, much as I'm greater than I know myself to be. And it's almost like we're with somebody like that, and we're listening to their story, or we're aware of what's going on, but we're adoring a larger truth about them. And how beautiful it is to be in the presence of somebody who sees more in you than you can see in yourself. And we can do that for one another. And then we can also heal the relationships where there's been a hurt. And one of the misconceptions is that forgiving is what we do to that person. I forgive you. No, you're forgiving them within yourself. You're forgiving about them within yourself, the judgments and the energies that you hold about it. You're forgiving the idea that whatever was said or done had any power to diminish you in the first place, because it doesn't. And you're coming out of that fog, and you're willing to love that being as you would love yourself, and set yourself free, and maybe them too, if they're willing. I remember a time when I had just met Erica, and I was smitten. And I was also on an education committee at our headquarters, and I was flying out to LA for one of the meetings. I got there very early, and I went to the conference room we held them at, and I thought I'd be the only one there that early. I'd put my briefcase down, visit some of the staff in headquarters, and then I'd be at the meeting. Well, I walked in to the conference room, and there he was. The nemesis of the group, I was convinced. A minister named Dan. And he was of the old guard, I judged. And he was just a troublemaker. Every new idea, every innovation, every creative possibility, he'd just squash it. And there was just this animosity and all of this in the name of God. And it was the meetings were kind of troubling because they were so contentious. And I walked in and I saw him there sitting all alone at the end of this long conference table. And a part of me said, just put your briefcase down on here on this other end and you can get out and he may not even hear you were here. But one of the things that happens when you get into this teaching is that there's this little voice. Try as you might to get rid of it, it's there. You gave it permission to homestead. And it said to me, oh, no, you're better than that. You're not, you can do better than this. So I walked down to the seat right next to Dan, plopped my briefcase down and sat down. And he was shocked, because usually I was as far away as I could be from him. And we just sat there quietly for 2 or 3 minutes, and then it dawned on me. I said, Dan, I've seen you at conferences and such with your beautiful daughters and your lovely wife. How are they all doing? And he lit up. And he proceeded to wax profound about his daughter he's so proud of in college, and the other daughter doing so well in high school, and how wonderful they are, and his wonderful wife and her projects. And he just lit up. And then he said, what's going on for you? And I said, I have met a woman. And she's the one, and interestingly, I didn't design it this way, but it looks like I'm going to become an instant dad of these little guys. I'm going to adopt them. And this is just going to be the greatest journey. It's really the outcome of a transformation I had about 3 years ago or so. And I'm just so excited. And he thought, that's great. And we're talking, and then all of a sudden, it just cleared the field, And I said, Dan, it seems like you're against everything we come up with. I just want to understand it better. Can you help me understand it? And he said, Roger, I owe my life to the science of mind. Ernest, and I knew Ernest. I walked with him. He taught me. And then he empowered me, an African-American minister, to take over one of the churches here in LA, and he was on my team all the time. I love this teaching, and I don't want to see it diluted watered down. And I said, I got it, yeah. And I said, hey, just one thought is that I think the ideas coming out here aren't about diluting the teaching, but exploring how can we teach it differently and better to a modern audience? How can we deliver it, same stuff, but deliver it in a way that's understood and actionable by people? And he thought and thought. He said, you know what? Okay, maybe I'll be available to that. And there was a great shift in him from the rest of our meetings. I don't know if we ever accomplished anything, but the meetings were more pleasant. They're much more pleasant. And then Dan and I grew close. I delighted when a year or two later I could introduce him to Erica at one of the conferences, and we had dinner with his wife and Erica and I, and then at other conferences subsequently we'd get together and we'd talk, and it was so warm and wonderful. It taught me something. I wept when he passed because our hearts came together. The gulf was illusion, really. See, we share heart with everybody if we want to build the bridge. Where does that apply to you? So listen, gang. We're in the midst of what we have been striving for. And as the phrase goes, that which you've been seeking is seeking you. So now we get to take off the cloudy lenses of how we see ourselves, how we see others, how we perceive the world and situations and experiences, dealing with what's going on, but always asking what's more here, having moments of realizing the higher essence that's here, having those moments when we remember and surrender so that we can imagine and partake. And what will happen is that we can get inspired. We can become receptors. We can attract higher ideas. We can invoke greater solutions than we even understood. We can have healings. More than anything, we can calm that fear that there's not enough and I'm not enough. And then, you know what? Life gets pretty darn good. So it says, a little child shall lead them. I just invite you to always remember that little girl putting on those lenses, and apply the corrective lens of the heart for yourself. You'll love what you see. Let's have a prayer. Deep breaths. Now. Sometimes it can seem like the tentacles of problems and situations grab us, tie us down. But let us move to the heart, the ultimate liberation, the ultimate portal. Just let your energy of awareness reside at the center of your chest and sense that just being present to the heart, it quickens, it vibrates, it warms. You can allow it, give it permission to open even more, to overtake you. And more as we learn the leadership of the heart, the old dark glasses fall away, and our inner and outer vision opens up to a beautiful vista of unlimited light and possibilities, of a healing energy already in our bodies, already in our being, already all around us. Sense this. Let your inner vision perceive and receive the mighty presence of the one power, its intelligence, its blessings, its delight in you, its gifts in you. And perhaps you would want to affirm, oh, I give thanks for this homecoming. I give thanks for my awakening to the larger realities of the living Spirit. No more do I walk in a sense of separation from my source or from any good. I and the Spirit are one, and the good of God is ever given. And therefore I delight to continually cultivate eyes that see and ears that hear. The inner ear that hears, thou art my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. Dream your dream, live your life. Bring higher awareness to whatever you experience, whatever you face. And oh, I receive this message in my heart of hearts and prepare to leave here in a different way, being led by this light divine. So I affirm and know that healings of mind, body, experience, and emotions are active already within every one of us and now being allowed, envisioned and allowed. And I give thanks that as we go forth from here, we become an enlightened citizenry that brings a higher level of more to the world. More love, more care for the earth, more food for the hungry, more compassion for the disenfranchised, more joy and connectivity across all seeming boundaries, more love. We give thanks for a world where peace prevails. For that is the ultimate truth. And so, knowing this, we give thanks for this transformational shift, knowing that it is a moment-by-moment, joyous journey. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, life. We release this consciousness into its active unfoldment, letting it be so, and so it is. Amen.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 gratitude within.
Thank you, Dr. Barry. And now before our offering, Reverend Jackie has an acknowledgement.
Thank you, Dr. Roger. I want to say, too, that as we start the offering, one of the greatest gifts that I know we're given here at Mile High are our volunteers. So at the end of this week, we're having our volunteer recognition, and what we wanted to do today was share with all of you a little bit of what will happen. They'll be given awards, we'll have a dinner, we'll do all kinds of wonderful things. But I want to recognize one volunteer right now. Sherry Russell, would you stand, please? She's way in the back. She's usually right here in the front. Sherry has been a volunteer. She actually was one of our steadfast people for Wednesday Night Live. She was always there. And now you'll find her in the event center. She helps our guest artists. She's just so willing to be present. So thank you, Sherry, and thank you to all of our volunteers.
Not quite on. That's what makes this place so great, is all the beautiful people like Sherry and many of you who are so dedicated. So ushers, if you'll take your place, it's time to enter into the joy of living this clarity of abundance, this clarity that we're in the mighty midst of that presence. And as we work with the energy flows of life and give as we want to receive, that anchors that reality in our awareness. So I bless you in the joy that I pray that it is for you to share of the good that has been given to you. So if you'll hold that gift or tithe in your hand, and thank you, by the way, to those of you online who are sharing in your own way using the various facilities online. Let's just bless this by declaring together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
Yay, Dr. B. Thank you, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. If you are here for the very first time today, we are joyful to welcome you to our community. We hope you will stop by the Welcome Center or pick up any of the brochures out in the lobby that might help you find out more about us. Go online to our website at milehighchurch.org to find out more about us. Our practitioner prayer partners are coming forth. If you'd like some prayer today, please feel free to go down front and let them send you off with a prayer that takes about 3 to 5 minutes. It's a great opportunity. And I have a feeling I'm being upstaged. Is there something going on behind me? Yeah, okay. Oh, hello. I think we have some kids arriving, and I think that they're going to teach us a song. Dr. Derry's got a new song to share with us.
Yeah, so this is how we teach treatment to our little people here. And Dr. Roger was talking about treatment And so they're going to teach it to you today. So by the second time through, you guys will be singing too. Are you pumped for that? Open? All right. Put on your lens of childhood. Here we go. You ready, kids? Counting on you. Don't look at the screens. Whatever you do, don't look at the screens. God is, I am, I have, all I want. God is, I am, I have, all I want. Thank you, God. Over and out. Woo. Woo. Okay, now we're counting on you guys. Ready out there? Are you with me? Here we go. God is, I am, I have, all I want. God is, I am, I have, all I want. Thank you, God. Over and out. Woo. That's what I'm talking about. Here's the Mile High Youth Ministry right here.
Hey, it's not only woo, it's woo. Yeah, good job, kids. Thank you, thank you. Reverend Linda is here to tell us about some good stuff coming up.
Hi, I am Linda, and this is my good friend, Reverend Kay Johnson, and together we have the sacred privilege and pleasure of getting to create workshops and classes for the healing ministry. And we would love to enlist your help. We'd love it if you would let us know what you'd like to see presented next. You can do this in 3 ways. One is to fill out this card. The second is to email Kay. Her address is on the card. And the third way is to fill out the card on the Mile High watch page. So thank you in advance for your input.
Wonderful, exciting, thank you very much. We're so grateful for the healing ministry. If you've been looking for a way to serve here at Mile High Church and to get more involved in that way, there will be a volunteer fair on October 1st, next Sunday, where a lot of the different departments and areas that have opportunities will be available. And then we also are starting our Adventure in Faith next Sunday. It's a 5-week series. It's going to be a lovely time together. And not only are we bringing you great Sundays, you can sign up for small groups today. Join a small group in person or online and get connected that way. You can go to the event center and find out the times and locations of the groups. Reverend Josh will be out there to help you sign up. And now I'm going to turn over to Dr. Roger for the benediction.
Let's stand for the benediction and the peace song. Beloved ones, have a beautiful day. Let us go forth, the corrective lens of the heart, well in place, seeing the glory of our life and life around us this moment and every moment, now and always, and so it is. Amen.